Hey, welcome to today's episode of the 10 Mil with Tony Mercury. Today I got a special guest. So last episode, we talked to Jay Hunt about his software stack and really understood the differences between SMS, DVI, CRM tools, and how that is applicable to you and your shop. So I asked Cavan to join us today. He's an industry expert in all things SMS. So he does represent ShopBoss as well as Protractor. However, a lot of the things we're going to be talking about are really going to cover all SMSs and things to look for while you're out there shopping. We're going to cover some of the differences, the integrations, and all that. So Cavan, so great to have you on. I always get to see you throughout the year, so it's always nice to have you back on.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It was good to see you out at Apex and SEMA this last year, and really looking forward to our conversation. Don't worry, I'll keep it agnostic because it's a learning opportunity for everybody. So I just want to share some of the insight that we've done within our customer interviews and our market research. So hopefully it'll help some of you out there that are looking to potentially dive into shop management a little bit deeper.
Yeah, so let's actually start right there. So what are you seeing out there in the marketplace overall? Like, if you have a percentage, like how many shops don't have a shop management system? How many aren't properly utilizing it? Kind of what's your pulse on the industry right now?
It's a great question. I mean, I think there's a lot of different metrics and stats out there that measure those types of things. I'll give you 2 points. The first is that we estimate that there's about 24% of the market, so almost a quarter, that isn't using a current SMS solution, so shop management solution, and they're using pen and paper, they're using a whiteboard. But the other interesting note, the second point, is that we estimate that there's another quarter of that, so almost, a total half, that we sort of put in this digital transformation group. So they're of folks that have maybe tried a shop management solution, maybe they've done the self-serve subscription model, they've had it for a month, maybe 2 months, but they're not getting adoption at the shop. So they ultimately cancel it. And then maybe 3 months later, they say, oh, we need to get back on this train. So they start again. And they're kind of on this on and off sort of cycle of trying to adopt it, but it just ultimately doesn't work. So you're looking at over half, just about half actually, of the industry that either just has not adopted it yet or potentially has no interest. And then just the other piece that I find super interesting is this wave that's coming over the market in terms of new shop owners. So we have a stat in our market research that says about 40% of shop owners plan to retire in the next 5 years. So that means there's a new wave of owners. You probably interacted with so many of them, right? Through all the different coaching organizations and associations, Yang, and everything else out there, in which they're acquiring new shops. So you're talking about these family-owned 3-4 generation type shops that are now getting acquired and being, essentially part of these larger enterprise organizations. So that's what we're seeing the new trend be, is just, folks that have owned their shop for a long time looking for their exit strategy, and then working with and or collaborating with some of the newer, more, let's call it technical savvy shop owners that are out there that are now coming in and implementing their own software stack. So it's a really exciting time to be part of the market. And at the same time, I've said this a few different times when I've had these conversations, but the rising tide lifts all ships, right? We have so many good software solutions in the industry right now that are disrupting and really competing for, who's most innovative out there. And I think it's a really good thing for not only the software providers, but also the new shop owners.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that. So I started with Autoshop Solutions, and really my entry to the automotive aftermarket was 2015. And the big thing I saw was just the technology adaptation was so low. And it was the shop owners that were forward thinking that put these software solutions or internet marketing in place at that time, just how much further ahead of the curve they are. And that boils down to recruiting and efficiencies and being more profitable. So I'm to hear that almost 25% of shop owners are still pen and papers. Surprising, but not surprising. Do you think it's like a fear of technology, I'll call it, or what do you think's holding up that?
I don't necessarily think it's a fear of adoption. I think most shop owners out there, and those that we've interviewed, say they know that they need it. I think the hard thing is that you have a lot of owner operators out there that are trying to do a million things at once within a shop. They're trying to not only manage their technicians and their service advisors, but they're also trying to manage their finances. And, a lot of them just don't necessarily understand exactly how a shop management system or kind of the nerve center of the business can really help them out with that efficiency. But I don't think it's a fear. I think it's simply just, where do I get started? What questions should I ask? Keep in mind, there's 125 different shop management solutions in the market right now, everything from your $10 a month, subscription that basically is a calendar, to a lot of shop owners just using QuickBooks, saying, you know what, I can manage pen and paper and then just have all my finances flow directly through QuickBooks, so I know what my revenue is. So there's a lot of different options out there, and I think sort of sifting through that is probably more of the fear, not a fear of technology, but the fear of the process of, okay, now I have to go through this entire change management cycle.